It's enough, I think. It's enough, I think.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Green Live Stream. I'm your host, Edie Rondell, and I'm here with my wonderful friend and coworker and fellow volunteer, Scott Free. How you doing,
Hey,
Scott?
everybody. How's it going?
Don't know what I'd do without him. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's like every week you think you just can't top it in how much news is going on. And yeah, well, they did it again. They topped it. What can you do?
Yeah.
I mean,
So I may or may not be able to comment on YouTube because now YouTube thinks that me as the host is a spam comment. So if I can't say anything back, please forgive me.
oh
I
God.
don't know what's going on with YouTube. You know, maybe we're just getting too popular.
Oh, that's a
You're
good
like
problem to
500.
have.
No.
Somebody thinks, I don't think so, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, just wait. We're working on even more, right? We got a big show. All the links that we do or do not get to in the show will be in the YouTube run-up show in the details. And 10 of them are on Facebook because Facebook limits you. But our first story is about the U.S.-Israeli deception. Yeah, from Antiwar News, official U.S.-Israeli deception gave Iran false sense of security ahead of attack.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm having trouble.
We are to blame. We are to blame. Our government is to blame. And we are to blame as well as a people for not reining in our government and people around the world. They need to concentrate on not asking them politely, not sending them an email, not doing a phone call, figuring out how to make them comply with people's wishes. But I'll go ahead and read while you find it, Scott. That's fine. So, official U.S.-Israeli deception gave Iran false security ahead of attack. An Israeli official said Tel Aviv received a clear green light for the attack from Washington. Yeah. They told the Jerusalem Post to convince Tehran that diplomacy was still possible after Israel was ready to attack Iran. Just hours before Israel's massive assault began, President Donald Trump maintained he was still committed to talks. Yeah. Liar in chief, right?
Yeah. Later on, it says sources speaking with Axios said the perceived split between Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu was coordinated behind the scenes. Two Israeli officials claimed to Axios that Trump and his aides were only pretending to oppose an Israeli attack in public and didn't express opposition in private. So, yeah, I mean, and some people kind of, felt it was probably a ploy to begin with. But, yeah, now they've proven that it is. And, yeah, the attack on Iran was so substantial that this isn't like was it a month ago when there was little tit for tat things. This one was so large, and the response from Iran was pretty large. So again, World War I and World War II, it's not like they announced on a day, okay, it's World War I, it's World War II. Years later they say, okay, that was World War I, right?
Here's the start.
Yeah. Right.
Here's what happened.
Historically, they go back and say, okay, yeah. So, I mean, it certainly seems. And the other thing about the other wars was just because there were things going on simultaneously, just like today.
Yeah.
So there's Ukraine, Russia, and there's all of the Middle East. So,
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had these kind of localized conflicts, but, now that Israel feels that they, they're kind of done with Gaza. They already decided to annex 60% of the West Bank.
Well, they're not done with Gaza. I mean, they will
feel
continue.
They feel they got it. They beat them. They feel like it.
Well, I mean, they're going to continue until they're all gone. That's
yeah, I know. I'm not saying they're going to stop. I'm just
Yeah.
saying that they feel like they've probably got that under control now, and they wanted to stop talks. And in my opinion, Iran is smart not to talk to our government because I believe Israel expressed that they want to do the Libya model where you get them to disarm, and then you go in and destroy their government and their country and just take it over.
Yeah.
So, I'm not for nukes, but if it keeps you safe, I don't know.
No, there's no doubt. I mean, what happened to Libya is exactly that. They gave up their nukes and then they massacred the country and killed the guy right out in the street. So, yeah. No. I mean, and that's what North Korea knows. They know they're still here because of their nuclears. That's without a doubt. Everybody knows that. So,
yeah, and I watched so much yesterday that we only put in a fraction of what we watch. But I saw a map that had Iran and then it had American bases all around it. There's probably 25 bases surrounding Iran. Like, don't y'all think that's intentional?
And that's around every country that we have plans on. I mean, we've surrounded Russia and we've surrounded China. So, yeah, no, there is no doubt. That's how the military-industrial complex works.
Mm-hmm. And Jeffrey Sachs was on Tucker Carlson. I didn't get a chance to go watch it.
Oh, wow.
And Jeffrey Sachs for Green Party president.
Yeah, that's my little campaign, folks. It hasn't gone very far.
Well,
but we're going to push it. I just think he'd be a good
We have time. That's 2028. It's fine. Well, he said that the list of countries that we've attacked is the list that Israel gave us.
Oh, yeah. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. All of our wars of the past 20 years, that's Israel's. Again, like we put in the title, Israel, aka US. They're tied together so intrinsically that you could just flip out
it's like this.
Yeah. Biden's famous quote. I mean, was that if Israel didn't exist, we'd have to invent it. So
yeah. And I was watching, which we don't have that, but there's a Jewish anti-Zionist Congress happening.
Oh, okay.
Katie Halper posted it.
Okay.
Really interesting speeches. I missed the morning because I think it was in Europe somewhere, and just really, really interesting. Israel backed the white South Africans against apartheid.
Oh, as we did.
They supported the apartheid state. I didn't know that. Like, the more we find out, the worse it is.
Oh, yeah. No. And Nelson Mandela was a terrorist, according to the U.S., up until, I can't remember what year, but years past. Oh, yeah. No. Again, U.S. and Israel, when do we disagree? It's really, really, really sick.
Yeah. So, so there's evidence, and also somebody leaked it and got thrown in prison. Somebody, I can't remember who, that was on the inside. Somebody in intelligence leaked what was going to happen, and they got sentenced to 3 years.
For which?
For leaking about the attack.
Which attack? Yesterday? Or
Iran.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So they will brook no resistance until we just beat them. So Caitlin Johnstone, which if you're a regular, you know how much we love her. Staring down the barrel of war with Iran again. So, U.S. officials are telling the press that they anticipate a potential impending Israeli attack on Iran. Well, it turns out that was true.
Yeah.
And she just posted it like a couple of days before it happened. So she sees the writing. Tehran issues a warning that it will strike all U.S. military bases within range of its missiles if it comes under attack. I don't think that's happened yet, right?
No, they have not attacked any military bases. No, they have not.
Yeah, and Trump drew them down right before the attack. So
right.
Come on, he knew it was going to happen. What a liar! Ugh. Anyway, There are reportedly some 50,000 U.S. troops in 10 bases, which could come under fire should this occur. And there's many, many more around them. The U.S. is also evacuating its embassies in Iraq and has authorized the departure of non-essential personnel from its embassies in Kuwait and Bahrain. Yeah. Trump is openly declaring a willingness to strike Iran if nuclear negotiations fall through. And like I said, if I was Iran, I'd be like, nah, I'm good. But I also saw an interview where one of their top negotiators was sitting down and saying, we're ready to make a deal. And the deal is we'll stop this if you remove the sanctions. That seems like a fair and equitable trade.
Well, negotiations with the U.S. are kind of, I don't know why. I mean, I guess people have to do it for the theater of it. But my God, why would you ever negotiate with this country? I mean, they haven't kept one single result of a negotiation ever. I mean, so, I know it is kind of part of the theater, but my God.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of evil.
And Caitlin, just on the side, Caitlin references a tweet from Antiwar.com, and I highly recommend that you check that website out because it has a lot of up-to-date things on like every country. They've got a column that lists every country and what's happening with them in terms of military, and highly recommend that website.
Yeah, that's where we got the first story, if I didn't say it.
Oh yeah.
And Kalia's here. Thanks for coming, Kalia.
Hey.
The Cradle just said that jets took off from Israel heading supposedly to Iran.
Yeah, right. The back and forth is in full swing right now.
I may have got my comments blocked because I said World War III has started.
Oh, maybe
they didn't like that.
Right, that was your
I'm going to do a test.
Thing you posted. So
yeah, let's see. Testing. Anyway.
Yeah.
I don't see it. Oh, there it goes. Okay. It just didn't like me going early. So the next thing is the Instagram. Did you have that ready or no?
Let me try to get that ready here. And let's see.
Oh. Can't spell.
Okay, let me try to get it up here.
Okay.
Unfortunately, when you click on it, it starts in Instagram. We should not use Instagram for sharing because there's no way to stop it. So it'll probably be somewhere in the middle.
Okay. Well, we can just let it play through and then play through again if we need to. It's fine. So this is at the Capitol.
We got people rushing the Capitol steps right now.
Oh, this was from a later one, but that's okay. We can show it now.
Oh.
These are veterans that are very unhappy with
Capitol Police are responding
with the military.
Capitol Police are responding to those who broke through the Capitol barriers. They're taking a seat. They're taking a seat on the Capitol step. Other side.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought you had the Tel Aviv one, but I can put while you get that, I can put up the Butchware statement.
Oh, the bombing of Tel Aviv. That was Twitter. Yeah, that was a Twitter. Hold on.
Oh, okay. You're going to see a bunch of corporate media saying Israel struck Iran. Our plan, our weapons, our logistics. Israel is our client state. The U.S. is striking Iran.
Absolutely.
Yeah, sorry. Democrats and Republicans alike have been trying to engineer this since 1979, which I kind of remember. We overthrew their government back then. And that had to do with Reagan getting elected. They wouldn't, and there was hostages. Reagan stepped in and said, don't make a hostage deal with Carter because I want to be president. Well, I'll do it after I get in. Helped him win the election, you know. So, and then the ICE escalations in LA were cover. It's all about forever war. Oh, cool. Go ahead. Can you make it bigger or no? So this is Israel, not Gaza, and not
Yeah, not
Iran.
Gaza.
And Iran got some through and hit their main headquarters last I saw.
Yeah, that is one of the main stories. Is they claimed that the Iron Dome plus they talked about 3 levels of protection, but no, Iran does have the technology to be able to break through. Not all of them. I mean, most of them gets blocked, but yeah, this one obviously got through.
So I can't stress the significance of what just happened. Israel is saying they're trying to defend themselves. Iran has not attacked him. Israel's been saying this for decades.
Right, forever.
They have a hit list of countries that they want to destroy. Iran is probably one of the largest, and don't think it's going to stop there. I mean, how many have they already ruined? Libya, and
Well,
like
and
I can't even think.
and
Like it's just all of
the
them.
sick thing about it is the Zionist concept is that they want Jews to come to Israel. Their method for getting Jews to come to Israel is to try to create more anti-Semitism around the world, so the Jews feel afraid and that they have to go to Israel. And the way they create more anti-Semitism around the world is do these atrocities. I mean, it's the sickest. It's absolutely sick. But that's what this is also about. That's why they're so bold with it. That's why their IDF does selfies of their atrocities.
Mm-hmm.
It's different than the Nazis. The Nazis try to hide stuff. They don't hide it. They're
Yeah,
proud
they're
of
doing
it.
it right out in the open.
They're proud of
So
it. And that's, again, it's sick that they actually want rise of
yeah,
anti-Semitism around the world.
I wish I would have thought to look this up before the show, but I just typed into a search, Greater Israel. There's a map. It's most of Syria, most of Iraq, half of Saudi Arabia, part of Egypt, to be added on to Israel.
Yeah. And geez,
And
which countries have we bombed in the past
let me see.
20 years? Syria, Afghanistan, Iraq.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
people are
And
finally
9/11
realizing.
happened because we put bases in Saudi Arabia.
Right.
And Osama bin Laden did not like that. So there we go. And there's also video. Hazel's here.
Oh, hey, Hazel.
Video of
Go ahead.
people in New Jersey up in a place that they could see the towers, waiting for them to go down and cheering when they when the planes hit them.
Yeah.
And they were investigated and linked to Mossad. So Israel is the scourge of the world right now. Not because of who they are, because of what they're doing. It has nothing to do with being Jewish. They are not. I mean, there's many, many Jews that are completely opposed. There's that Congress going on right now.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah. Just really wonderful. Katie Halper is showing that. So put up Hazel. Hazel, thanks for coming. Not to mention they work with U.S. lawmakers to claim anything against the state of Israel is anti-Semitism.
Right. It's that whole equating anti-Zionism with anti-Semitism. It's like that's their goal of being in their office. That's what they spend most of their time on. It's just horrible.
And that's how we're different, because we don't take that kind of money. We get money from people.
Right.
Just regular people. We follow the rules. We don't, believe in Citizens United. So we're not going to use it to help us, because once you allow that corrupting influence into your systems, you're done for, man.
Well, yeah, they've been done for a long, long time.
Yeah, the two-party system is the one-party system.
It is. It's just set up in a theater setting. That's all it is, to do the good cop, bad cop kind of.
I'm really glad people are starting to see through it, though.
A lot of people are.
Okay, then the next start. So that's the first part of our show. We did go 20 minutes. we're worried that this might be World War III, and I don't know what's going to happen. So fire ICE. I think we should fire ICE and demand due process because they are not doing it. And the next article is the UCLA Law Review, the ICE trap. Since 2014, an unprecedented surge of in absentia removal orders has resulted in the deportation of tens of thousands of non-citizens, often at the expense of due process. And they put, I thought it was exclamation points, but it's a link. The Immigration and Nationality Act permits an immigration judge to order a non-citizen removed in absentia, that is, in the absence of the non-citizen, if the government establishes by clear, unequivocal, and convincing evidence that a written notice, called a notice to appear, was provided to the non-citizen and that the non-citizen is removable. Since the Obama administration, the executive branch has ordered immigration officers and judges to initiate and adjudicate removal claims rapidly. This pressure to close cases has led immigration judges to issue an endless amount of in absentia removal orders against non-citizens without due process.
Right. And I thought
Trump put it on steroids.
Well, the important thing about this article, it was April of 2023. So again, it's that idea. Do not think that this is simply a Trump doing. He just makes it the worst kind of theater. He does it right out in the streets. But no, this, and again, the due process, the law part of it has been going on the whole time. It just didn't make the news.
Oh, I want to put up Hazel's comment here.
Yeah.
In the 2024 election, I believe Trump received $230 million from AIPAC.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's a big AIPAC. I mean, everybody in Congress, I think, except maybe Massey, I could be wrong, but the vast majority take tons of money from AIPAC. Oh, yeah.
And
Kamala Harris was at the top.
Yeah. And if you don't, you're still not allowed to speak against them because the people that do will make sure that you are removed. You will lose. You will be kicked out of Washington, D.C. Period. Full stop.
Yeah.
Just ask Jamal Bowman and what's her name from Missouri. So the next part is Sabby Sabbs, which we love Sabby Sabbs, and we just had JB from Revolutionary Blackout Network on our show on Wednesday. He was fantastic. We didn't even get to talk about healthcare, which was the thing I thought we were going to talk about. It turned into a whole other thing, which we always let our guests control what we talk about. Sabby Sabbs, LA ICE raids are political. So we want to play a couple clips of that. She does amazing work. If you're not following her, please do. That look says it all, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Of the protest, the anti-ICE protests in Los Angeles, a response from Gavin Newsom and Donald Trump. And I want to explain to you how what is happening in LA is political, more political than anything. And I'll break that down for you and explain to you how it's the same team and they're actually bouncing off of each other and helping each other. Well, things got even crazier in Los Angeles just last night. Of course, police presence has escalated. Donald Trump, we talked about this. He brought in the National Guard. At the same time, now there is a call to bring in 700 Marines. And I told you guys before that that is a big no-no, right? To bring in the military to push back against the people. Like it's a big no. Like it's not something that is well received. And it also, and this has already been happening, but it also is going to give the public a more negative opinion about the U.S. military, right? So again, all of these things are at play. We are going to start with this clip here from Fox News. This is Pam Bondi responding to what's happening in L.A. Let's get into it.
Protect law enforcement and the people in L.A.
Sean,
What we're going to do is we are going to enforce the law regardless of what they do. Look at it out there. It looks like a third world country, and it's not. It's the United
Stop.
States of America.
Go ahead, pause it. You know what else looks like a third world country? Roads not getting fixed, empty abandoned houses, homeless on the street. You know,
Exactly.
they just don't want any. They don't want to respect our right to protest. They don't want, because they've stopped listening. So y'all, writing an email ain't gonna cut it anymore. Calling them ain't gonna cut it. It might make you feel better, but then they have stopped caring what we think.
And to turn the military against its own citizens, that's, you're like Sabby said, that's just like the core of, you can't be more wrong than that.
Yeah,
That is just
they're
so
using
crap.
a narrow. I can't remember what it's called. This narrow rule that was created in case of the Insurrection Act of 1800 something, 1803 or something like that. Oh, something that was like 200 years ago, really? You know, wow.
Yeah, in principle, it's wrong. You don't put your military.
And you know, California didn't ask them to be there.
Right.
You know,
I know.
that's another thing. We didn't say, "Oh, we can't handle it." Trump just decides.
Yeah.
What was it? Oh, I was gonna say, what was it? W was, he was the decider in chief.
Oh, I don't remember that. Yeah, and the right-wing media loves to say, "Oh, they've done it before. They've called him out. They called him many times. This is never." It was always at the governor's request. Always.
Yes.
That's what they leave out, right?
Yes. And Gavin Newsom's no prize anyway. But go ahead and fast forward to 5:15 if you can get over there. 5 minutes and 15 seconds, somewhere in there.
To the Trump administration. Now, I want to pause and say something here. It's very important that people do know that the media is going to run with the narrative that helps said party. So right-wing media is going to run with a narrative that's going to help the Republican Party. Liberal media is going to run with a narrative that helps the Democratic Party. But what I have noticed when it comes to some of the videos that are being shown on corporate media, what they're not showing you is that, from what I saw and talking to people who live there and were there, what I saw is that a lot of the escalation was started by the police.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times people, they don't see this, they don't capture this. Guys, this was going on back even in the 60s, right? There was the trial of the Chicago 7. And why were they on trial, right? Because during the DNC National Convention, there were protests outside of that convention. And there were people who were arrested. And they said, the courts and of course law enforcement said that the protesters started the escalation. They started the fight and the physicality, right? But what the evidence later showed was that it was the police who started that escalation.
Yeah.
So
Pause.
keep that.
Yeah. And there was a video, I didn't share it because the quality was really not great. And this is in LA, it showed police smashing the windows of a police car. So that just happened this week. So it's absolutely true. I mean, Black Lives Matter. I mentioned this before, that during those protests, there was a guy who was smashing windows of a building, and luckily somebody was brave enough, was going around and catching his face. I think he maybe had a mask to hear or something, and then they posted it, and some woman said, "Oh, that's my ex-boyfriend. He's the police." And yeah, and then like I was at in Chicago at the Black Lives Matter protest, the really, really big one, which was completely positive. It was weirdly positive given the subject matter. And as I'm leaving, the brain doesn't click because you don't think this. And I walked past a corner in downtown Chicago, and there was a pile of bricks there and no construction. And it didn't even hit me until like days later. I was like, holy shit, what was that pile of bricks doing there? And now that one I'm not going to say is the police, but obviously somebody was setting things up to happen, right? And that night there was, they smashed windows like crazy, but the protest itself was not violent whatsoever.
I mean, how is that not incitement to violence?
Right.
Putting the tools there coming in and infiltrating and saying crazy stuff. We had somebody, so I just went to, the ICE protests, and that's where I came up with the fire ICE thing, because I said fire ICE, demand due process. That was my sign. And this guy that was dressed all in black, like goggles on, mask on. He was trying to lead me and my friend Mac in a different direction than our march was going to go. And I go, Mac, who is that? He's like, I don't know. I said, I'm not going over there. I'm not going with him. I don't know who that is.
Yeah.
And we had undercover cops circling. We had the police. We were there probably an hour and a half. And the cops went by like 4 or 5 times.
Oh, God, yeah.
It's completely peaceful.
Yeah.
We just were out there with our signs, and we had, some nice Mexican music going. It was fun, and just to show solidarity with LA. Then there was some cop or somebody, I don't know, in Texas saying that if you spit on us, if you throw something at us, if you pull a gun at us, we're going to kill you.
Oh, I saw that video. Yep. And I know an officer is like, why didn't they turn around and arrest that guy? That is illegal. And I know that somebody in the press was shot by a rubber bullet too. I don't know if it was.
Yeah, in the foot.
Okay.
She's got her back to what's happening,
Yeah.
reporting to this person in front of her, and she gets hit by a bullet.
Right.
Rubber bullet. I'm sure it still hurt a lot. It was
Oh
in her
God.
foot.
Oh God, those things are horrific. Oh, of
Yeah.
course. No, it's
I'm thankful I don't know yet.
right. Nope.
And then I also saw, which we don't have time to even begin to put all the things that we see on. This woman was in LA, and we're done with Sabby.
Oh.
Yeah. Was in LA, and it's like 7:15. They're trying to leave because LA apparently has a curfew now, 8 p.m. Welcome to martial law, people. They were trying to leave. The cops kettled them and held them in place until after 8 o'clock so they could arrest them.
Wow.
And they didn't read them their rights. Nothing. They're like, why are we getting arrested? Why can't we leave? And she showed video. She goes, I just got out of jail. And this is what happened. And she was like filming and showing the time. It said 7:16. And they're like, why are you not letting us leave? So they forced them to break the law that they instituted. It's getting nuts, y'all. But today, in a little while, is the No Kings rallies.
I have that video, the Instagram one that I think you wanted.
Oh, you do?
So let me get that going here.
Okay.
Is this the one you wanted?
It may be. Oh, that's a different one, but yeah. Look at that guy's grin.
I don't shoot people. What the fuck?
Nobody's even close to them. And protesters are now starting to wear masks because of, facial recognition and possibility of tear gas.
Right. Oh, right. Okay. I'm sorry. Those were tear gas bombs, but still, I mean, it's disgusting. And tear gas, I think, is using that is a war crime, right? That's an illegal act too. I'm pretty confident that.
I have no idea anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, the rules don't apply, right?
Right. Obviously. No, in the thumbnail that I made for this week's show, it's LA police on, I don't know, it was hard to see it. LA police holding these they look like whips or bamboo sticks or something.
Mm-hmm.
And they are hitting these people and I swear to God, these people were just like going around to get to the stairs to go up and leave. And they are coming and hitting them with these sticks from horseback. I mean, it was sick.
Yeah, I saw that. This man was just walking along. They're leaving. He's
Right,
like, just
right.
got his backpack on.
He's
You know,
facing
his
the other
phone in his
way. He
hand.
didn't know he was going to get hit. He's not doing anything. He's just there walking.
He's walking, trying to leave.
Yeah.
And this cop on a horseback just starts hitting him with this big white long stick. I don't know what
Yeah.
it's made
I
out
know.
of.
Yeah, right.
Just like, and he's like turns around, then he starts
Horrible.
hitting him some more. Like what? you
Yeah.
know? And then people that were trying to come around these, it was like a rail for stairs trying to come around. They were all like, look, we're unarmed.
Ugh.
Yeah. So y'all, it's getting for real. But the next graphic, you want me to get that one?
Go
Talk
ahead.
about the no kings. Oh, wow. Thank you, Hazel. Sorry, we can do the comments real quick if you want.
Go for it.
I gotta back it up. Let's see. Oh, Corey Bush. It took me forever to remember her name. Yeah, I know. Haven't heard from her since.
Yeah.
She got kicked out for saying Free Palestine, I guess. So it's the pot calling the kettle black. The U.S. and other countries need to get out of Africa so we can truly see who the real third world countries are. And
right. Exactly.
Kalia does a great show Sundays, which I always seem to forget. I'm so sorry.
We've been listening. We were there a couple weeks. Green tea on Sundays.
Green Party Tea. It's 5 p.m. Sundays on TikTok. Is that
5
right?
p.m. Central Time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So go check her out because amazing conversations.
And we've covered Burkina Faso in the past couple of weeks, and it's just incredible what's going on there. And again, like we know that the U.S. has sights on on murdering their leader, Ibrahim, and of course trying to take it back, and France too. Of course, they kicked French out.
Colonialism is the problem, y'all. One group deciding that they're superior to another group and decide that we can just hurt you, kill you, and take your stuff.
Right. Well, colonialism. It's been that's what's happening now in Gaza, and that's what we've been doing around the globe and Britain.
Yeah. So Status Quo is a great resource if y'all haven't checked that out.
Okay. Covering the protests. Cool.
Yeah. House Rep Mike Bost. Oh my God, that's my House Rep. Preemptively contacted all of the major police departments in Illinois 12th District because of rioting.
Oh, Jesus. Oh my God.
So it's his fault.
Oh.
Yeah, he's my House Rep. He's a horrible person.
Oh God.
I keep trying to convince somebody to run against him. Haven't been out in a while, but I haven't heard any reports of protesting in general. Could be wrong though. Oh yeah, they're happening everywhere.
Yeah, it's so hard to keep up. I mean, I try to put protest events on the events page of Illinois Green Party, ilgp.org/events. There are so many I cannot keep up every single day. There's one in Peoria on Sunday. Support LA. I think I just put up.
If you all know of any that are in Illinois, please email us. Just go to ilgp.org and hit the contact page and send us an email.
Yeah.
Hazel says,
no declaration of war. There never is. There's never a declaration of war.
There hasn't been one since World War II.
And Congress doesn't complain, right? They don't take any actual action if there might be some, again, theater type complaints. But
well, it's supposed to be up to them.
Thank you, Hazel. Tear gas is considered a chemical weapon in warfare. For some reason, the police have more rights than the military do. Yeah, right. That's what it was. Thank you, Hazel, for the context. Yep.
Yeah. What were we talking about? So much information, right? They never declare war.
Right.
But if there's anything going on in Illinois, please send us a message. I forgot what I was going to say, but that's okay.
Well, we got the next
Howie comes on at 3. Oh, we were talking about no kings. Yeah.
Oh yeah, right. You got the graphics for those?
Ariel's here.
Hey.
Yeah, I'll get it. Let me find it. So no kings rally.
Yeah.
So I haven't decided if I'm going. If I was going to go, it was going to be to show up as being Green Party, because this is funded by a Walton, which owns Walmart. So that always gives me pause. And that's how they get so many people to come, because they're very well funded. But you got to look at the graphic. You want me to put up the other one? So this is
Yeah.
ICE funding. Red versus blue.
Right. So Trump's years, 2018, 2022, and that was, the ICE budget went from 7.5 billion to 8.4 billion. The Biden years, the ICE went from 8.9 billion to 10 billion. So again, the Democrats are putting on the theater of being anti-ICE. How come they're supporting them to this level? I mean, $10 billion of support is hardly being opposed to ICE, right? That's the problem.
In
And
2024.
yeah, and I always say that's the game that goes on with these politicians. It's the theater of it all, because the Democrats, in public, they say things that are leftist sounding and progressive sounding, but then in the details, the bills that they sign quietly, not at all. They are absolutely supporting the Republicans. The Republicans just do it out blatant.
Yeah. So I challenge anyone that is planning to go to the No Kings to go wearing your Free Palestine shirt, because they don't want to talk about it,
No.
or go wearing your Green Party shirt and talk about third party politics, because those people are still in the bubble. We have to burst their bubble.
And how can you call it a protest when it's like endorsed by a political party? That's not a protest. That's a rally. It's just a rally for a party, really, is what it is. And again, you got valid reasons to be out there. I mean, in general, it's good that people are protesting as a concept. I like that is, and Trump, there is a million reasons to protest him. Absolutely. But I am in Chicago. There are so many protests going on. I mean, every single day now. Every single day there are protests out there. So this one I'm not going to make, but
you can't even keep up anymore.
No, I mean,
however, the problem with these kind of protests, they are a pressure release valve for the duopoly to keep you in place and keep you voting red, blue, whatever your leanings are, which keeps the system continuing. And
it's always good to check the sponsors of a protest. That
Yes.
gives you a real good sense of, who are the
sponsors and look at their donation.
Oh, yeah, right.
If it says
Or
Act
lack
Blue,
thereof. The ones I go to, there's no donations being sent. It's very grassroots groups that I go to.
Yeah, pay attention to who you're around, because it's very important. And if you look at any organization, anybody that's sending you an email or a text that says Act Blue, I suggest you cancel them, block them. That's the Democratic Party. Brian's here. What's up, Brian? Hooray! 60s are back. CIA, FBI are not killing high-profile people, but everything else is the same, and suppression is even more.
Yeah, well, that I think will be happening.
Yeah. So the next one was LA. I tagged it as LA Rises Up. I don't know what it's actually called. It's an Instagram.
Oh,
Yeah,
I have no more Instagrams. No.
Oh, okay.
Nope.
Well, let me see. Well, we can go on to the next one then. As Trump sets military against civilians, service members have a duty to disobey. So this is from SheerPost. Let's see if I can find who wrote it. This is from June 12th. California National Guard. So this is written by Marjorie Cohen from Truth Out.
Okay.
4.5 months after his inauguration, Donald Trump is exercising his authoritarian chops, targeting immigrants in the state he most despises, California, making good on Trump's nativist pledge to deport millions of undocumented immigrants. Agents from the Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, and the Department of Homeland Security started conducting widespread raids outside workplaces in Los Angeles. They began on June 6 with no prior notification to the California governor, LA mayor, or local law enforcement. During these raids, ICE officers arrested people in military-style operations that instilled fear and panic in the community and terrorized immigrants. That's enough. That says it all.
Yeah, I wanted to show the graphic. If people didn't see this, they sent the National Guard in and had no place for them to stay. I mean, that was just wonderful planning. So they're laying on top of each other. I mean, just this government is such a mess.
Well, they don't care about the actual people. They
Right,
care about
right.
property, money, and power.
Well, and they want the theater of it. They're just
Mhm.
gonna make sure that the theater gets, satisfied. Right. The people involved.
Yeah, thanks for putting that up. I'm slacking in my job.
Oh, no. I just thought it was a good one because,
It's a great one.
It's-
Yeah, supporting the troops there, huh?
mm,
Good job. And I wanted to read you a little bit about the Insurrection Act of 1807. It empowers the President of the United States to nationally deploy the U.S. military and to federalize the National Guard units of the individual states in specific circumstances, such as suppression of civil disorder or insurrection and of armed rebellion. So nobody was armed, so that one's out.
yeah.
Insurrection, what's the definition of insurrection? Let's see. Is an uprising to change the government. If a government does not recognize rebels as belligerents, then they are insurgents, and the revolt is an insurgency. In a larger conflict, the rebels may be recognized as belligerents without their government being recognized by the established government, in which case the conflict becomes a civil war. I didn't really define that, did it? Okay,
Now,
I missed it. I apologize.
We had heard that there was a surge in calls to the hotline for them to declare as conscientious objectors because of what's been going on.
Mhm.
And so we wanted to just show, here's the hotline that folks out there can call if this applies to you. Because, yeah, I mean, to be put in these situations, again, there's so much pressure to join the military because of the inability of our country to provide for people, so that they feel such financial pressure that they go in. And
Mhm.
what we are having them do is I mean, every single war has been just this horrific, either again to help Israel with its colonization or to try to stop communism in some other country of which we have absolute no right to be telling countries how to run their government. But we'll go kill 1 million of them so that they don't get communism. So, yeah, this is a conscientious objection fact sheet, and you can find it at girightshotline.org. So I would recommend.
Yeah, and yeah, I would say, there's different reasons. It's got different reasons you can do it. Religious, training or belief, participation in war in any form. If you're facing deployment, I don't think they belong in our high schools. I think that is
Right.
terrible. You're getting these young men that don't know what they're going to do because capitalism, yay, didn't allow them to transition to either higher education, getting a college degree, because they're making it so expensive and so hard to do that
Oh, God.
it's becoming out of reach for most Americans.
Right.
I'm for tuition free.
Absolutely.
And it used to be that way. It used to be tuition free or very, very low cost because we believed in education.
And of course, they're getting rid of Job Corps, right? So that's another thing. I mean, a way to help people. They're just trying to destroy every possible way that the government can help people, which is the exact opposite of what our government should be doing.
Yeah. So even if you've signed the paper and you're ready to go in, you can still do this. You can still object. So, oh, okay, we're moving on.
I just
Sorry.
wanted to.
You didn't warn me.
Yeah, sorry.
We're just trying to get it all in.
Yeah, well, I wanted to also, show another place that it's a family support network and hotline that is also available to people.
Mm-hmm.
And this is Illinois Coalition for Immigrant and Refugee Rights.
Yes. Yep. There are people there to help you. There's a phone number. You can take a screenshot if you like, or just look them up. The link is also in our YouTube, and I believe that one's also in our Facebook in the description. So knowing your rights is the first thing. And we posted that last week. I had the little card. Can't remember who gave it to me.
Yes.
I carry that with me at all times because being a citizen is not going to protect you anymore. If there's no due process, then there you go.
Yeah.
Um,
And this is at icirr.org.
yeah.
icirr.org.
From what I've witnessed, many young people going into the military are only there for VA benefits. Some really hardcore right wingers just want to be there for the power, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Well, VA benefits are not a guarantee. There, if you go to gp.org, the national website, and look at their GI rights, they are trying to make veterans not eligible by changing how they are released. So they snatch our kids out of high school. They go send them off to do horrible things in another country, which breaks them psychologically most of the time because we're not designed to be that cruel and horrible to people. And then they get back, they're still in, and they get in trouble because they're not okay.
Right.
You know? So then the military kicks them out on a discharge that denies them their benefits. That's a real thing.
Yeah.
So I didn't know it was a real thing. I've got a little bit of knowledge on that one, but didn't know it was so big that we needed to put it in our platform.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Hazel's got one more. A guy that called me a terrorist in high school for being trans went into the military as soon as he graduated.
Yeah. No, you're right. There is the mentality there. And it's too bad that they don't understand that the government is using them in the worst ways. And, I know that there was like a real shock for people in the military coming back from Vietnam and the recognition of what a waste that was. And that I'm sure that that's also happened to people who have come back from these other wars that, when you're in it and you're all energized and stuff, and you're going to go save the US and then you find out the reality of what we're there for. And it's, psychologically damaging. And it's just horrible that again, there should be a pride of a country that you want to support your country, in defense, right? They call it defense budget. And that concept is fine, but that's not what our military does.
That's not what it is.
It hasn't been for.
Yeah, and to find that out
too late in the game, right?
Yeah, once you're there and it's too late.
Yeah.
That's devastating.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that link that I provided, you can download the fact cards. So for the ICIRR. So we're gonna move on to Butch.
Okay.
Our other favorite guy. We got our favorite guy later, but our other favorite guy.
Butch Ware is running for governor of California. And he's here on Colonial Outcast, which is, again, a great program.
If you want to go to 311 to 502.
Okay.
All righty. There you go. That's good.
And we didn't see coming.
Yeah, and now it's here. And, we spoke earlier about like what's directly happening on the ground in the last segment, but I was hoping to kind of talk more about the politics of California. And I think one of my take generally is, this focus on LA specifically is obviously it's going to have the most resistance out of any other city in the country for this, with the immigrant population, the fact that it's a sanctuary city within a sanctuary state. And if they break LA, I guess the logic is they could break anywhere else.
The Bay Area is going to give LA a run for their money with respect to the kind of level of resistance that's going to come. But I think that with respect to the optics of power, the reason why the Trump administration has chosen Los Angeles and Chicago as the theater for some of its biggest escalations is that these are the two largest Mexican cities outside of Mexico. These are the two populations that have the largest number of Mexican Americans in them. And these are Democrat-controlled states. This is designed to kind of create chaos and havoc in the places where Trump sees his political enemies. You'll note that there haven't been any kind of similar theatrics in a place like Texas, for example, because his aim is not to make a partner and an ally like Greg Abbott look bad in the process. So there's a particular kind of optics, and LA is is the kind of chosen theater for the optics of power that Trump wants to put out. Definitely.
Right. And I guess
you can
I'm going to
pause.
play a clip.
Yeah. Did you have a comment about that, or you want to just keep going?
Butch is completely correct on that one. Yeah, and Trump has in Chicago, and there's been really bad situations in Chicago too for the exact same reason: Democratic mayor and Democratic governor.
Mm-hmm.
So right. No, it is, again, this is theater. This is all theater. And unfortunately, the people whose lives get destroyed in this theater that they are putting on, it's horrific what's happening. And just the stories of the kids being taken out of schools, and the one construction site where they grabbed about 15 people. And it's like, wait, you're calling them freeloaders? You're grabbing them for work? I mean, it's like,
by the way, if you work, you pay taxes. If you buy things, you pay taxes.
Right.
So I call bullshit.
Right. They do pay taxes. Exactly. And again, there's no due process. I mean, there's been plenty of examples of people who are legally here and they still get taken and sent to other, deported. I mean, it's just, it's anything goes is the concept that they just want to come in and wreak havoc. Like Butch said, they want the chaos. And they want them in democratic, run.
Yeah, and I will also say that if we want to secure our border, that's totally fine if that's your thing. However, let's stop, going in and destroying other countries' governments so people don't want to come here. Most people would rather stay where they're from.
Absolutely.
And the back end of that, I had this asked to me by this, you're on the street, you're going to get approached by people. So you don't believe in criminals? I said, I have my sign. I'm like, fire ICE, demand due process. I believe in due process.
Right.
If they are a criminal, of course.
Right.
Yes, they should be deported, arrested, or whatever the appropriate thing is. But we don't have a good process at the border to know who's coming in. They'll fund a wall, but they won't fund the processes to make sure we know who they are and if they're seeking sanctuary or whatever it is. So now it's just punishment.
And again, the use of the term criminal, it's like, that's obviously they watch the right-wing propaganda.
Yeah. And
but they don't hear the stories of taking the kids out of schools. Those are not criminals. Guys at their construction job, not criminals. I mean, it's just that they love to hear that stuff, and it feeds their own racist narrative, so they go with it.
Oh, wow. Look at this. A few weeks ago, ICE nearly sent some Asian immigrants to South Sudan before getting stopped. So no due process. They don't even know what they're doing.
Oh God, no. It's a horrific.
Yeah.
It's horrific theater.
Yeah, it makes for good theater, I guess. If you want to go up to, let's see, 855, it was the next one.
Okay.
This is if Butch Ware was governor, and by the way, if Butch Ware gets governor of California, we can just mute that. Sorry. Passes. That's okay. We refuse to give Google money, so.
Yeah, sorry, I don't pay for YouTube, folks. So.
Yeah. So. Ignore the commercial. We don't do that here. We're not advertising anything. Okay. 855. Oh, and they're constantly trying to get you to sign up.
Oh, shit.
That's close enough.
California, then before ICE touched a single hair on the head of any California resident, they would first have to go through every single lawyer in the state of California and every single law enforcement officer in the state of California. And that's actually what Gavin Newsom would be doing if he was part of an actual opposition party. Because when you're sworn as an elected official, you actually swear an oath on the Constitution, not an oath of fealty to whoever happens to be in power. And what we're seeing is that they have to perform an optics of appearing to resist so as to not alienate their party base, but they actually are incapable of offering any substantive resistance, and they don't want to.
Pause.
Right. And then Trump earlier.
Yeah, I want to add to that a year or two ago, which Gavin Newsom vetoed a bill that was put up to him that was going to force prisons to not comply with ICE, and he vetoed that. So again, the Democrats are not our friends.
No. So don't believe them. And one, I remember what I was going to say earlier. The difference between Republicans and Democrats. Republicans are overt. Democrats are covert.
Oh, that's a great way to
Yeah, that occurred to me the other day. That describes them perfectly.
exactly.
The next clip that we're going to show is about third-party politics. It's at 1313. Yeah, or close enough. Yeah.
And we'll see if they throw in another commercial.
Described liberal parties don't really exist to defeat more violent conservative parties. They exist to block actual progressive movements for access to political power. And I think the Democrats are like the best example of that in like the modern world.
Mm-hmm.
They've been incredibly effective in that aim at any number of levels. It's the reason why during the 2024 presidential election campaign, when I ran as Dr. Jill's vice presidential candidate, they did everything that they could to get us thrown off of ballots, to minimize the ballot impact that we were capable of making. That is their way of trying to keep an actual independent, not corporate funded third party from emerging. That's their basic job. That has been actually the job of the oligarchy tour that you've seen. Bernie Sanders and AOC Pelosi, traveling around the country, speaking on their job has been to try to keep progressives that are tethered to the Democrats from going off the Democrat plantation. Their role is to play sheepdog. So as you said, they are the greatest contemporary example of not just a liberal party, but a neoliberal party, one that is committed to privatization of everything, right? And serving this role of keeping an actual opposition from emerging. And that's and I'll stop here. You read a little bit from my introduction. I've studied anti-colonial resistance movements, revolutionary movements, but I'm a historian, not a soothsayer. I don't see the future. The one thing that I know for sure is that Team Blue is not going to protect us from fascism. That's the only thing about the future that I can confidently predict, because if they were capable of doing so, then they wouldn't have given us Trump in the first place. People forget that it was Hillary's Pied Piper strategy that hand-selected Trump as the candidate that she would run against in 2016, because she thought that a more extremist candidate would be an easier target. Then that party dumped tens of millions of dollars into far-right candidates on the opposite side of the aisle, so to speak. And they have actively participated, not just in blocking the development of an independent populist third party politics, but of throwing gasoline on the fire that is raging fascism in this country.
Pause.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, most people don't know that the tactics that the Democratic Party uses to block the Green Party. I mean, it's just every despicable thing that you could imagine they are out there doing to block us. And I mean, obviously it becomes high profile in the presidential campaigns. But every election, I'm telling you folks, every single election in every state, any Green Party candidate running Congress, I don't want to say local, but Congress, statewide, the Democrats take them to court and challenge every signature. And the thing is, the signature requirements are horrendous to begin with. And the laws are set up that they can go in and they just randomly pick the ones that they object to randomly. Because our lawyers have said, you can see it's like they're picking every fourth one. they don't go through and take the work. They just randomly do it. It's a very short time period that our lawyers have to go in and prove that each one of these is valid. I mean, they do everything they possibly can to keep the Green Party from getting noticed by the public.
Yeah. So here in Illinois, we are creating a very detailed plan on how to get our signatures. You can still leave that up. We got a little bit more.
Sure.
We're going to verify each signature and get them notarized day of. So once the day is done, it's kind of in the can, you know?
Well, yeah,
Like-
there's an extra process again, folks. It's all to make it as difficult as possible. This should
Yeah.
all be computerized, but no, we're out there with paper and pen, and they have to notarize each sheet. That we do. So we have to go through that whole process.
Let's see how many barriers we can put in the way.
Right.
And, you know, like Matt Ho, they accidentally called him the Democrats impersonating Green Party
Right.
to have people remove their signature from the petition,
Right.
impersonating Green Party. And by the time it gets resolved, the election's over.
Yeah.
It's just
the kind
so
of tactic.
shady.
That's the kind of tactic.
Not to mention Nevada. If you've been here a while, you know what happened in Nevada. The state gave them the wrong petition. They got 3 times the signatures. They got thrown out at the Supreme Court. And they have no write-in option. So
Yeah, the Democratic Secretary of State gave them an illegal petition to use for their campaign.
Mm-hmm. And the difference was negligible. A judge should have said there's no difference.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like one line that they were still in compliance with.
Yeah.
And Dems are not stupid. Thanks, Brian. They knew what they were doing with Hillary. Objective was 1, stop Bernie, 2, allow Trump a win while getting and spending.
Yes.
It's all about the money, folks. So, are you ready to move on?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, it's 26:30. So this is about standing on the sidelines. And I would say we don't have time for sidelines anymore, people. World War III is starting, martial law is starting. We need to jump this now. You know, we need to figure out what to do. And I'm for general strike, but we'll talk about that later.
Against a white supremacist regime that's crushing it. So blackness emerges as a response and a resistance to white supremacy. So I'll come right out and say it, that if you are standing on the sidelines when white supremacy is engaged in brutalizing people, then you are serving the interests of white supremacy. And the great theorist, books behind me on my shelf, Bell Hooks, always reminded us that white supremacy isn't a white people's problem. White supremacy is threaded through all of our institutions and all of our practices. And there are a lot of Black folks, frankly, that are running some cover for white supremacist xenophobia and anti-immigrant sentiments right now.
Yeah, I mean, you can make this.
Yeah.
No, that's such a good point. And it takes some folks a while to get comfortable with the term white supremacy, because it sounds like it's setting up kind of, race war kind of thing. But when you think of the history and like what's happening in Israel and Palestine, it is white supremacy. They're not cool with Ethiopian Jews, folks. It is white supremacy.
That's not brown Jews.
Yeah. No. No.
We're Black Jews.
Right. No, that is the absolute truth.
Yeah. And by the way, yeah, Iran has a lot of Jewish people in it, and they just attacked them.
Right.
So those are brown Jews. We don't like them.
Right. And it's just, that is the history.
Says Israel, not me.
And it's, because Britain for years and years and years, and then the U.S. took over after World War II. I mean, that's just it is the harsh reality. And Butch Ware makes a good point that folks of other colors also do their best to keep that going because they have their own agenda. Maybe they're getting paid. Maybe, so there's.
And that's always lobbied at third party people. How much you getting paid? And I'm like, dude, I'm out here for free.
No, it's just
Yeah,
no. I mean, right. That's a kind of a cheap tactic because the thing about and I will criticize Democrats, even the guy that's running for mayor. It's like, okay,
Mayor of New York.
Yeah, because it's like, guy, you're of Arab descent and you're working in a party that started the genocide. that started the funding and participation and intelligence and everything around that genocide. So you've already given up your principles. If you think that you're so principled with all your platforms that sound fantastic, still at your core, you're working in a party that is massacring Palestinians.
And
It's not okay. It's not okay. White supremacy, guy, white supremacy.
and they're platforming you to convince others that they've changed and they haven't. And should you you probably won't win.
Well,
You know, more than likely you probably won't win because they won't help you. And then according to Christina Khalil, you have to sign a paper saying you will hand over everything to the Democratic Party once you put the D behind your name in the primary, and then you are bound and to endorse and support the person that wins. So even if they're a Zionist, once you sign on, you got to say, yeah, I support blah 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 for whatever. That's how they roll.
And the thing is, that can happen at different periods. I mean, they supported AOC. She got in. She was saying wonderfully progressive things, right? And look at her now.
Yeah.
And so, people, it's just at some point they either, they realize they get taken into a room and they get told the reality, wherever that happens in the process. And even Bernie Sanders, as far as he still got taken into a room. And at some point he makes that decision. Okay, I'm going to comply. I'm going to endorse Hillary Clinton. So, people, it's.
And he convinced his followers to vote for her.
Yeah. And,
even though she was terrible.
Oh, God. I mean,
she's responsible for Trump, in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely. And then, this came later in the history, but I mean, she and Obama slaughtered like 50 to 100,000 Libyans. So, Democrats love to say Black Lives Matter. Yeah, not so much.
They love war just as much.
Well, they just love it couched in their own framing. They don't look at the harsh realities of what their Democrats do. That's the thing. They don't really pay attention. Yeah,
Sabby and JB talk about black faces in high places. And it goes the same for every group that has been hurt by the empire.
Right.
They'll hurt them, they'll destroy them, they'll kill them, marginalize them, whatever they got to do, and then they'll go find a few in the country and elevate them so they can,
That's what they're doing. That's what they're doing it with their Muslims right now.
Right now.
I mean, you'll see these stories. There's somebody running in Michigan, and Bernie endorsed them, and it's
or Chicago.
Great. Okay. Yeah, of course. Right. Absolutely. It's happening everywhere because they know now. They committed genocide. So what do? They find sellouts to try their side look good. It's all theater.
Now they gotta make it okay. Even though they did actually nothing
and
to make it okay.
I feel like it's my life goal to convince people to stop normalizing Democrats. Stop that's genocide. That's sick.
Yeah. The party of genocide. They will forever be
them. Don't normalize them. Don't make it seem like they're okay. There's nothing different about them today as when they were committing the genocide and in charge. I mean, so many of them still vote to send the bombs to Israel. So it's not like that's changed either. They just happen to not be in power. They're a part of it.
I just saw a graphic of all the people that I can't remember how many, lots of Democrats, the Springfield group that I'm part of posted because Nikki Bedinsky, which Chibu ran against, was part of thanking ICE for all their great work. So that's Dems, y'all.
Right. Oh, that's
big,
right.
Long
That
list
bill.
of Democrats
right
in the House.
That was in the bill. Yep.
So Nikki, you're on the wrong side of history. Just saying.
Yeah. Thanking ICE. No, there's no doubt. Beyond the scenes, the Democrats are all in.
Yeah. Bending the knee. The next clip.
You can tell we love this interview. I think it's my favorite interview.
46.
I think it's my favorite interview of the year so far. This is just
42, 46 through 43, 49. And then we'll just let you guys go and watch it because the whole thing's fantastic. We had to pick out the best parts, which was hard.
From you, and then you have to fight to take it back because they're never going to give it back once they've taken it. So
back it up
it's
a
really,
little.
really
I think
important,
missed
you know,
something.
that at this
Sorry.
moment, double the grift.
Yeah.
There you go.
I
let me
hear
just-
if you don't write a book about it, it never happens.
It never happened. Well, I want to go back to one thing, you know, and the independent reporter based in California, James Lee. I did an interview with him not too long ago. He also pointed out in some recent reporting that this call for Palantir surveillance now on, you know, uprisings in California, that this is, you know, this was always a kind of end game of the fascist authorities. And let's just be clear about this. We know this from the Floyd uprisings. We know this from all kinds of anti-Semitic false flag incidents during the pro-Palestine resistance, that we know that there are federal operatives and others who are intentionally causing property damage, who are intentionally trying to escalate from the inside in order to provide a pretext for the Trump regime specifically to extend its policing prerogative, to take as much as possible. And whenever they reach into our civil liberties, the thing is that when the government reaches into your civil liberties, it never gives them back unless you fight for them back. Right. They always extend the terrain further, take more from you, and then you have to fight to take it back, because they're never going to give it back once they've taken it. So it's really, really important, that at this moment, that we continue to resist, and that we continue. I called for a general strike in Los Angeles today. I've been working with the folks at General Strike US. I think withdrawing our labor from the system is one of the most important things we can do. David Huerta, lead president of one of the great service employees unions here in the state of California, a union that runs 750,000 deep, was manhandled, brutalized, arrested, and detained during this last uprising. I think that there's a great opportunity for organized labor to play a crucial role in organizing our political resistance in this moment. And I'm all for it. I'm there to provide support. And I've made that call that we need a general strike, because I understand that electoral politics is just one tool in the toolkit for liberation. It needs to be used as part of a collective liberation strategy that is encompassing of mutual aid, direct action, especially things like strikes.
Yeah.
Right.
Pause.
And,
Pause.
they are effective, which is what.
Absolutely.
We're hoping he got that from us.
Go check out our show with Butch. It's fantastic. I think it was our most popular show
So far. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's amazing.
Popular.
But he's on point. He's exactly on point. And we see this throughout history. Do you guys see the patterns here?
Yeah. We're done with the interview, but I highly recommend you all checking it out. This is Greg Stoker. What is it?
A Colonial Outcast. He's part of
Colonial
Mint
Outcast.
Press News. Yeah. Mint Press is also fantastic, folks. And Greg is fantastic.
And Greg is a veteran, by the way.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's
Mm-hmm.
right. He has, he does bring so much military knowledge into his interviews. Okay, that makes sense.
So, we're going long today. Thanks everyone for sticking with us.
Thanks everybody. This has been.
I put Butch's website down in the bottom.
Okay.
If Butch gets California, it's on, people.
Yeah, this is so important, folks. This is so important. If we can get Butch in there, and they do that jungle primary, so it's the top 2 that get in. So the primary is just incredibly important. It is like, it's different than the other ones. It's not like a regular primary where it's the parties are.
It's the top 2 in the primary that get to be in the general.
Right.
And Butch has got a hell of a machine going over there. He's got money. He's got volunteers. He can always use more. Needs more. But he knows what he's doing, because he was with Jill. He was the VP. So he learned a lot from the presidential campaign, and he's taken that to California.
Right.
And if California goes green, look out, people.
Yeah. We need
other people will recognize the possibility.
Right.
We're trying to do that here.
Yeah.
And we also need a whole lot of help and a whole lot of money, because
look what appeared.
Wow.
Huh. That happened.
Where'd that come from?
QR
Almost like I
code
planned
from the
it.
sky.
So go to ilgp.org to get involved, become a member, donate. If you're a member, you can get onto our base camp and see what we're organizing. That's where we do most of our conversations. But I challenge everyone to donate $26 for 2026 or more.
There you go.
We got 36 people, and you don't have to be from Illinois. It's the same fight. You know, you can donate to Butch, you can donate to us, because we're going to try to run a 7 slate statewide team, the green team, whatever we're going to call it.
Of which
we're going to find a catch.
Edie is going to be running for lieutenant governor. So yes, so that's really exciting. It's gonna be a fun campaign. We're gonna be working it. But yeah, and right, as Edie was talking about, it's just important that you support the Green Party in any way that you can, whether that's through Illinois, through any state that you're in on the national level. Share social media with Green Party. Go and become, sign up, follow, place, Green Party is of any state or national on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all the places, and just share and as Edie and I have had many conversations, it's really important to talk to people one-on-one. It's super important to talk to people because that's where you're going to really make, congrats, Edie. That's where you're going to really, really get people to change. And I used to be so cynical about that, but I am seeing folks change. I am. They're starting to realize that, right, the two-party system is a trap and they've been stuck in it for a long, long time.
Well, the Dems are being exposed by Trump.
Yeah.
As being ineffective.
Yeah.
They're not fighting. They're fine with it. You know why? They have health care.
Yeah.
They have a pension. They have a nice house. They don't need anything.
They're so busy working for their donors. That's what it is. It's they kind of don't even think about the public, really. It's really just, their own careers and making money off their, if you notice, folks, they're not going to do an impeachment over the emoluments clause of Trump making money, which no other president has been this blatant. I mean, he puts on $1 million dinner. A woman shows up, gives him $1 million, and some relatives gets, pardoned the next day or something. I mean, there's nothing like Trump, but they won't bring that one up because they all do it.
They could have done it in 2016 when they were. Who was that? I can't remember that guy's name. This very respected, attorney guy was, U.S. attorney or something. They would, we're like screaming emoluments clause, but you know why they won't use it? Because all of them would be indicted. We would have to have a complete do-over election. They would all be kicked out.
Which I think I endorsed the other week. We need to demand they all leave. We need for the genocide alone.
We need to start demanding their resignation.
We should just have new elections and bring, move the update, except if Butch needs more time to get his campaign together, okay, we'll leave it. But no, and Edie, we don't rush your campaign. I'm being a little silly, but still, no. I mean, no. These, right? I love the backstory of the impeachment that did happen. The backstory was they were pissed at him because he was stopping the funds, the arms to Ukraine. That was the backstory. We had no idea. None of us did. No idea what our government was doing in Ukraine. We had no idea. We're like, Ukraine? What? Why are we talking about that country? Where's that?
Yeah.
Right? I remember those times.
Yeah. We made sure it was ran by Nazis, the Maidan coup. Look it up. And if you've been here any amount of time, you've heard Scott talk about it a lot.
A million times. But it's funny because there are things in the press. You can find some MSNBC things like Chris Hayes saying, what's our politicians doing over there? This something seems a little off. And there was the one politician that wanted funding to not go to the Nazi regime. I forget which one it was, the Nazi specifically.
Azov Battalion.
They put a bill in Congress before 2022 and Russia invaded.
And who was that guy?
They did talk about that stuff. They really did. That it all shut down. Russia invaded. It all shut down. Don't
Right.
talk about the Nazis in Ukraine.
Right.
I
Sorry,
shouldn't.
sorry if I froze a little bit. I live a little bit in the country, and internet's not always reliable. Who was that guy? Was it Brian Mast or something like that in Florida that has legs blown off? He was a soldier, and he showed up in an IDF uniform, which brings us back to
Yes.
Gaza.
Yeah.
The stuff going on in Iran, I believe, happened to make sure we stopped paying attention to Gaza. The flotilla
Well,
was commandeered by Israeli pirates, and they were kidnapped, not arrested, because it was international waters.
oh, are we
And
bringing up
Egypt is, then there was the march to Gaza. They fully let Egypt know that people from all over the world were coming. They get there and they're being deported. They're not going to allow them through. They literally made up a law that you can't pass this checkpoint in Egypt, which didn't exist before. If you don't have a certain, I don't know, passport or something. And they took their passports,
Here
by
it
the way.
is. Here's the article. Yeah.
Yeah. So these people came from all over the world, like 50 countries or something, and got stopped in Cairo.
Wait, has the whole thing been stopped? I missed this story. It's still going, right?
It's still going, but
Okay.
Egypt is stopping all of them.
Oh God.
There's people the people coming from Libya or from Africa through
Right.
Libya are being stopped. People coming from the other way are being stopped.
Oh,
The
crap.
Freedom
I didn't-
Flotilla got stopped.
Well, yeah.
The people that flew in to Cairo are getting stopped and deported.
Oh, I see what you're saying. The fact of the timing of the bombing of Iraq. That's a really good thought. Now that I didn't know the story, I missed it. I wasn't prepared. You make a good point, because the pressure was coming. The pressure was on. And now it's obviously they've been meaning to go after Iran for decades. But you're right. In terms of the timing, that's a good point.
Egypt is complicit in the genocide.
Oh, God, of course. I mean, all
Egypt's
those Arab countries.
Foreign Ministry has said visits to the Rafah border region must be coordinated in advance with Egyptian embassies or government entities, and underlined the need to follow official procedures to ensure safety and security. Organizers say they coordinated with Egyptian authorities and have urged the government to release those detained. Groups of foreign participants were being held at checkpoints, and sit-ins had begun at 2 locations on the road leading to the Rafah crossing, organizers said.
Wow.
They said police were stopping vehicles about 30 kilometers, about 20 miles from Ismailia, close to the Sinai Peninsula, en route to Rafah, nearly 300 kilometers away. Police were forcing passengers with non-Egyptian passports to disembark, they said. Security sources confirmed that at least 88 individuals had been detained or deported from the Cairo airport and other locations.
These Arab countries are so disgusting. I want to explode. And again, that's why I always praise Yemen. Right. Yemen is the country that's doing it. Now, I was checking their Twitter to see if anything had been going on.
You can take it down if you want. I guess I'm done since we're over time.
Yeah. But no, I was checking to see. I haven't seen any posts from Yemen to see if they were taking in more action. But all these
Kali
other
says
countries.
So is Jordan. Do they not understand they're also in danger?
I know. Jordan? Oh, God. Don't get me started. It's a constant game. I mean, the leader in Egypt, they've, again, so many of these are puppet governments, because that's what our country does, is set up puppet governments anywhere they can. Sometimes they don't, they fail at it, like they're failing right now in Burkina Faso. But that's the goal of our CIA / State Department / whatever, is to set up these puppet governments that will do whatever we want. And God, it's it's so emotionally hard to see Palestinians going through this and seeing other Arab countries betray them.
And the people on the march to Gaza said some of them are refusing to sign deportation papers, and they're going to go on a hunger strike.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean,
Yemen is the one friend. Yep.
People who go on hunger strikes, I give them so much credit. That's so difficult. I mean, these people putting their lives on the line, it's incredible.
Yeah, we don't have to go into the last one if you don't want.
Okay.
I know we're kind of long, but I do want to put this up.
Oh yeah, we can end with Greta. Homo
Well,
sapiens.
and then my favorite guy, I think what
Okay.
he says is really good. But
All
the last story, they
Okay.
didn't arrest them, they kidnapped them.
Well, you read this and I'll get the other one ready.
Okay. Homo sapiens have not yet failed. Yes, we are failing, but there is still time to turn everything around. We can still fix this. We still have everything in our own hands. Miss Greta.
Yeah.
Love her to pieces. What a brave
Oh
woman.
my gosh. I mean, yes. My favorite celebrity.
Putting your they used to say your money where your mouth is, but putting her body on the
putting
line.
her life where her mouth is.
Putting her life on the line.
Yep.
And we really like my favorite guy.
He
He's
is fun.
wonderful.
He's totally great. I don't think I can get it any larger.
That's okay.
All right.
What he says is great, though.
In the U.S., you can't protest Israel because they'll send in police to arrest you. You can't boycott Israel because 37 states have passed anti-boycott laws protecting Israel. And soon enough, you won't be able to criticize Israel because U.S. politicians are about to pass a law that redefines what anti-Semitism is, to include that criticizing the state of Israel is anti-Semitic. What the hell is going on? This is insane. People ask me why I've only talked about Israel and Palestine for the past 6 months. And my answer to that is, this is all American politics has become.
Yep.
Politicians have spent all of their time and energy over the past 6 months trying to protect Israel from its crime. Everything they've done. The federal budget included dozens of things for Israel. They banned TikTok because of its pro-Palestinian influence. They're trying to redefine anti-Semitism. They've sent billions and billions of dollars to Israel. All of it, all the significant, notable things the U.S. government has done in the past 6 months has been for Israel. America has become overrun by Zionism. Zionism is what's in our politicians' wallets. Zionism is who our politicians look to, who they serve when they go on their annual trips to Israel. Zionism has turned the American government into a monstrosity that doesn't care about what the American people think, that doesn't care about humanity. They only care about what will get them more money from AIPAC and the pro-Israel lobby. No coincidence that Mike Johnstone is funded by AIPAC. He gave Israel billions of dollars. It's no coincidence that Mike Gallagher is funded by AIPAC. He banned TikTok. No coincidence that Mike Lawler is funded by AIPAC, and he's about to change the definition of anti-Semitism to shut down these college protests and silence criticism of Israel. It's no coincidence that Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio are funded by AIPAC. They backed the TikTok ban, saying that TikTok needs to be banned because it is anti-Israel. They said this in Congress. It's no coincidence that the president of the United States, Joe Biden, has taken over $5 million in AIPAC money. He has taken the most money of any politician from the pro-Israel lobby. Our democracy has been stolen from us. We need new politicians who care about humanity. We need new politicians who actually do things for the American people and don't waste all of their time and all of the U.S. tax dollars arguing about the best way they can protect Israel from the consequences of their atrocities. Make sure you follow me on Instagram so you can continue hearing my messages in the future. Thank you, and free Palestine. You get this straight. In the U.S.,
Yes. And he talked about we need new politicians. He actually has been on some of Butch Ware's events. So he's definitely supporting Butch, which is fantastic. And he's right. Now that, he did that when Biden was president. He's right. They are just completely controlled. I watched part of that New York mayor debate. I had no idea. I had no idea. The moderator asks, which country will you visit first? Israel. I'm going to Israel before he is. I was in shock. I didn't realize it was that level. Holy crap.
They can't genuflect fast enough.
Oh my God. Richie Torres, he's Bronx, I think. Oh God, they're just horrific. They are horrific.
Who are you going to talk to first? Hitler. I'm going to Berlin. I'm going to go kiss the ring.
That is it exactly. It is bowing to Hitler. That's what these people do in our government. They bow to Hitler. These are all of our politicians. We have to get rid of all of these politicians. We have
peaceful,
Yeah, I'm sorry.
democratic.
Okay. I heard what happened this morning. It's horrific. It's terrible.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
Minnesota.
We don't,
It's terrible.
I mean, we're
We
Green
don't
Party. We're
endorse
for
that.
peace.
Yeah.
I just want to make that clear.
Whew. Sorry.
I like your idea of calling for an election. I think
Right.
the entire Congress, everyone in government should be up in 2028.
Right.
Let's do it. Have a do-over, y'all.
Right. And even, you know, even if you're not successful in that, the idea has to be there, because that's the thing. It is that our entire government has been bought.
Mm-hmm.
The entire government has got to change. We have
Yep.
to, folks.
Yeah.
But anyway, enough of my ranting, but thanks everyone for coming.
Yeah.
And then what a great segment to end with, because we love him. We just love
Yeah.
that.
You
My
know,
favorite guy.
I feel like I helped him get Jill on because I was in his
Oh,
DMs, like, just, you need to talk to Jill.
okay,
Ditch
cool.
the Dems, like,
Yeah.
and the next thing you know,
Right. Well, he's working with Butch, so it's fantastic.
yeah. I disagree, Hazel.
Yeah. No, sorry. I mean, I just am, Hazel, I'm not going to support anybody who's in the genocide party. You know, somebody will win and others will lose. I'm not
But
going to
either way, it's a loss for America.
anyone in the genocide party. That's going down a path that's going to end nowhere. Look at AOC, look at Bernie Sanders, look at all of them. The history of the Democratic Party for decades, that will not end well. It's a nice little temporary thing. Yeah, I know. Sorry, Ed. We love you, Hazel. We love you.
We love you.
But-
It's
but yeah.
marginally, it's like this much seeming better, but at the end of the day,
it's
Democrats
not.
will destroy him should he
It's
win.
not.
What needs to happen is Green Party running, and then
Somebody-
you can support them.
Right, because that person, and you know, the guy's got talent, no doubt. He's got
Mhm.
talent, but he has others above him who will control him or kick him out. That's the problem. It'll
He will
look good for a
capitulate.
while. He will capitulate or he's out. So
Mhm.
that's the deal. That's the difference. If a Green Party person gets in, there's no Nancy Pelosi on top telling that person what to do. They have full freedom. The Jill Stein doesn't run this party. It is completely open. It's completely open, and it is the morality of that person that's in that office that will determine. And yeah,
Mhm.
they're going to fight that person, but luckily there would be nobody. They are there, and they can do what is needed to be done. Will they lose a lot of their votes? Yeah, of course, until we get enough people in there. But that's the point. We
time
got to
is-
stop it.
The time is now.
Stop loving Democrats, people. Don't
Yeah.
don't do it.
We have to realize they're also the enemy, and they are
They
a
are.
direct threat to the Green Party, and
Right.
they make no bones about it.
Right.
Okay.
That guy,
So
his party is our enemy.
yeah, it's
He
unfortunate.
looks nice. He looks great. Ooh, he's impressive. He's our enemy. That's the reality, folks. He could go independent. Or no, he can
I'm
go to
sorry.
Green Party. Can go
He
to
could at
Green
least
Party.
go independent.
Well, but he could go to Green Party, and then we'd love him to death because the man
Mhm.
has talent. Oh my
Mhm.
God! But no.
So vote Green Party.
Yes.
Join Green Party. You can join Illinois Green Party for $60 a year. We also have a low income option.
Right.
Because we know that's a year. What is that? $5 a month? Come on.
Yeah.
You know, just cut out one something a month.
But support the Green Party in any way you can, folks. The whole
Mm-hmm.
Green Party, nationwide.
Nationwide,
Yes.
Butch Ware, Andy Ellis,
Andy Ellis
in
in
Maryland,
He's running for governor.
Pete Karras in Wisconsin.
He's running for Secretary of State.
Mhm.
Those
Yeah.
are the kind of the high profiles right now. But soon the highest profile will be Edie Arndell for lieutenant governor. That will be the highest profile
Aw,
race of all.
yeah. Yeah.
Got to get my poster back in the back. Edie Arndell.
And
lieutenant governor.
we need a catchy name.
Oh, there you go.
Somebody on Wednesday was like the Green Lanterns. But that,
Except they might have been trolling us.
no,
well,
it was
because I don't-
Roger Meadows,
because
which is a
I-
friend of JB.
Because I had no idea what he was talking about. I was like, "Oh, that sounds great." JB's like, it's from the series.
It's comic book.
It's comic book
lore.
stuff. I mean, now that now I'm remembering
Yeah,
that.
it's fighting on the side of good.
Okay.
Green
Okay.
Lantern.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. All right.
No, it was a compliment.
Okay. It was positive trolling.
We're like, wait, what?
All right. But thanks, everybody. We really
Thank you.
appreciate it.
See y'all on Wednesday.
Yes. Oh,
I
well,
don't
you
know who
forgot-
our person is. I
we
forgot to
forgot
look.
to
I'm
check
so
the
sorry.
guests.
But we'll
Yeah.
we'll have somebody great. We always do.
Oh my God. The Wednesdays are phenomenal. It's so much fun. It's somebody from the Green Party mostly, but yeah, no, they're really, really fun.
But not always. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
All right. Peace out.
Bye now.
And don't lose the faith, like Bree likes to say.
Ah.
An uprising, we're rising up. It's an uprising, we're rising up. It's an uprising. Fight the power. It's an uprising.